Here's a new combination. I was in the middle of doing this little utensil pot and didn't plan on making a video, but then I thought, well, I've never done this before, so I thought I would share it with you guys. This is Tourmaline, which you can see on the inside. That turquoise color is Tourmaline, which is in a Potter's Choice 27. And right now what I'm putting on top of it is Indigo Float. And on this one, I'm gonna do a little line going down on the inside, maybe about an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches. And then I'm gonna cover the outside of it, just down maybe to the bottom. And I've done like you've seen me do before. I have put some little bands in here, but not as much as before. Just right now, I'll probably do some heavy cover on here. And then I'm trying to decide, like I say, that one's Indigo Float, PC23. That works real good if you use it with Ancient Jasper. Layering those two are good combos. But I'm trying to decide whether I want to put seaweed on top of this or if I want to do oatmeal. I'm trying to keep this a little bit lighter. Sometimes my glazes get dark on me and they're just not real bright, especially when you get into in a home setting, you know, in the shop or in the sunlight or out here with a light on. They look really nice and you get beautiful colors out of them, but you take them in a house and they just look dark. So I've really started trying to focus a little bit more on some lighter colors, keeping this brighter. And on this particular one, I started out planning on doing a completely different combination, and I was afraid it would be too dark. And so I decided I'm just gonna try something I've never done before and make up a new combo. We'll see how it goes here. And I'm gonna brush this on. This is my second and third coat of the Indigo Float. And you know what I might end up doing is I may just mix a little bit of, maybe I'll make some bands of seaweed and then cover those with oatmeal. And I know it's gonna run a lot, and that's okay. They don't mix well if they don't run. So it's always fun to just try something new. And if you watch my channel, you'll know that these are not tried, true, and tested glaze combos. Almost everything I do is a test tile, whether it's a big bowl that I'm gonna sell for 50 bucks or whether it's a little tea bowl that's gonna, you know, for 15 bucks. I'm not in this for the money. I don't make money doing it. It's a hobby for me. So while everybody else is really doing test tiles and trying to, you know, figure out what they want to do with a whole set of cups or something, I really don't. I just, I experiment. And somewhere along the way, I got the idea of, hey, why don't I put some of this on YouTube and let other people benefit from it? I started this playing with this like 4 years ago, and I'm still playing with it. I don't do anything serious out here. It's just, I love the quiet and the time to just create. And it helps with a lot of noise in the head. And y'all know there's a lot of noise in the world right now. Everybody wants you to see this, watch that, listen to me, and they're all telling the truth. There's not a liar one out there, so sarcasm. Okay, so I've got this done. I'm gonna see if I've got some seaweed handy. I don't remember what I brought over here to the table, so we'll see if I can't find that. All right, I've got a little seaweed here, PC42. It's a runner, as you know. Tends to make things flow together. Has a green tint. Can come out with some blues sometimes, but it's mostly a greener color. And I'm gonna create today. We'll see what comes out of this. It's always a surprise. like a freaking box of Cracker Jacks. How do you like that? Put us some Where's Waldo stripes on here. Some on top. This is going to help everything blend. I really love this Shimpo banding wheel. I think this one weighs 25 pounds and it just goes and goes and goes. Like the ever ready bunny. Just give her a couple spins and it really helps you get the job done here. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a little bit of drying. Okay, we're going to put another coat of our seaweed on here. I really love doing the bands, and I hope you guys are trying this out when you do these. It really gives you a very varied effect. I mean, if you're wanting consistency in a glaze, you don't want to do this. But if you're really looking for, the seaweed's about empty. I think I got another one somewhere. So I'll try to scrape the walls. But if you want variety, you want these things to have a very unique look, this is great. This is how you do it. Put these bands on it and then put a coat over all of it. I'm going to do this if I'm going to do, and I may have to fire this on one of those stilts, a biscuit or something. But I'm going to put this in here like this, and then I'm going to cover every bit of this. I'm going to cover it with oatmeal. And we'll just see what the heck comes out of this thing, won't we? It'll be fun. I'm struggling right now with, I haven't had the ability to throw very much. I have some muscular problems that are keeping me from doing that right now. And so I don't have enough for a full bisque kiln, and I don't have enough for a full glaze kiln. And I hate to run them without them just being loaded up, but maybe I'll have to do that. We'll see. I get excited to see what some of the stuff is going to look like, and then sometimes it has to sit on the shelf for a few weeks. So when you see the final results coming out of the kiln, my last video, it was same day. I did it one day, and then I ran the kiln that night, and then I filmed it and posted it the very next day. And that is a really uncommon event, shall I say. Had to move my heat gun there. About to knock all my glazes off. I don't know if you could see with the time lapse there, but on these last coats here with the seaweed, I only put it on these top two stripes because I don't know how much it's going to run. And so I'm kind of leaving this bottom one with just a couple of coats on it, trying to avoid a kiln shelf disaster. So bear with me. Just wanted to point that out. All right. I've got a couple of other pieces I'm working with over here with some, just some dry glaze that I have mixed up. A bag of coyote eggshell. I buy it in like 5-10 pound bags because it's a white. It's just a nice flat kind of white, and I've got a big bowl over here I'm working on. So I've been doing both of these at one time. But I'm going to, got oatmeal. Let me step this off here a second. And this was a bowl that I just kind of put some edges on it. When it was wet, kind of dry, I kind of squared it. This makes it a little different than just a plain old bowl. I don't know if sometimes you've seen, I'll try to start showing some more clay stuff instead of just glazes if it helps anybody. If anybody's interested in that. I had somebody ask that I film throwing some porcelain. And porcelain can be kind of tricky. I'll tell you, with porcelain and with a lot of clays, a rib is your best friend because it helps to dry that as you're spinning it, you're holding that. It takes a lot of moisture out, compresses it. But you just have to go slow with it. I love porcelain. I love B-mix. I don't get it anymore. There's nobody around here that has it. But when I first started learning, my instructor told me, he said, well, if you like this softer, he said, if you can throw with B-mix, you could probably throw with just about anything. And I immediately loved B-mix. It just worked for me. And I know it doesn't work for everybody, but those are just, you know, everybody's different. And the feel of it was just so smooth, the texture, and I really enjoyed it. And I still struggle with porcelain. I'm not about to tell you that I'm good with porcelain, but I can get some nice pieces out once in a while. So anyway, I'm gonna dry this one up and then I'll get back to the other video. I want to show you this oatmeal. If you haven't used it, it can be real thick. You can see how thick it is there on that lid. And it's a really thick one. And you can thin it down. Even AMACO says you can thin it down some if you need to, but it's great to put on top of things. Before all the flux glazes came out, it was really the go-to AMACO glaze to put on top and blend things and, you know, get a run. And it and seaweed have always been what I've gone to. But I love the flux glazes. And of course, there's still so much to learn with them and where you can apply them and all. But it seems like on some of them, they're better if you put them down first and then put color on top of them. And then on others, it seems like it's better if you put it on top. And I know I mentioned in the last video with oatmeal, I think you can pretty much, with iron luster, you can put like honey flux on the bottom and then put the iron luster on top and you get one color. If you put iron luster down first and then put oatmeal on top of it, I mean, you saw what that last porcelain jar looked like, and that was pretty amazing. So not only do you have all the variety of different colors and different glazes, but just how they're applied is a real option on getting a different result. So, all right, here we are. I'm going to recap this real quick again. We went with Tourmaline PC24. You can see that. This was inside and out all the way down. I did 3 coats of that. And then I did a couple of coats of Indigo Float. Didn't go all the way down quite, if you can see here. And I made some bands a little bit heavier. And now we've come back and we've done, like I said, the Indigo Float was PC23. Seaweed was PC42. And we all know, you can hear how thin that is. That one runs a lot when you put it on there, so you have to gauge how far down you want to put that. And then I'm going to put oatmeal on this. I'm going to coat it, and you guys can just watch. I'm not going to waste a lot of time with it, I'll tell you that. I have a little bit of oatmeal here that's thinner, and so I'm going to try to go ahead and use that up instead of that new one. Might let me get some of this done, and then I can put a coat of that thick on top of it. This is not your typical oatmeal. I have watered this down and it is pretty thin right now. So you're gonna see that goes on really, really smooth because I've got it thinned almost to the point of being like seaweed is. If you've used seaweed, you know you have to be careful. It'll run just putting it on a pot. You'll get a big old drip in it. So that's why I like this thing. It keeps me from getting drips too when I'm running it fast like that. And well, it should dry pretty quick since it's so thin. Okay, that's a nice thin coat. I'm going to put on a thicker coat of the oatmeal, and you can see the difference here. After you've had it on the shelf for a while, I mean, it's even thicker than this. It gets to where it's almost chunky. So you kind of have to water it down. But that's cool. And then I'll take whatever's left of this other jar and I'll mix it in with this new jar and just shake it up. I do everything I can to keep from wasting these glazes. If you're buying them online, I'm sure you're paying more than I am, but even my local shops are $20 a pint. They didn't used to be that much. Like I say, Coyote's a little cheaper, but it's not the same glazes, but they have some great colors, and I use a lot of their glazes too. Just the layering and all is a little easier with the AMACO. I don't know what I haven't done a lot of layering with the Coyotes, but they do have a product called a Texas two-step. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on that one, but it's something like that where they have it's a two-part glaze, and then you get a real neat effect with it. And some of there's like a Pam's blue and a Pam's green. I really like those when they turn out well. They give you kind of an oil spot look. I've used them on some cookware that I did. I bake sourdoughs, and so I made some sourdough bowls. And I don't have any on hand now. They're gone. I had one, and I actually sold it to a family member that I was using. So I don't even have one for myself at the moment, but it's all right. That just gives me the chance to make another one. All right, I think we're about to get this out of here. Try to get some of this out. And I love I don't know, but if you guys do any of this, just glob it up sometimes, because when that melts in the kiln, you're gonna get some neat reaction. You see how that is? But with oatmeal, when these dry, sometimes they will peel. They'll dry, they'll curl up, and they'll fall off. And there's nothing you can do about that if they do that. Just maybe brush a little more on if you need it and go on your way. But we'll just maybe. I think we're gonna be all right here. All right, there it is. Tourmaline on the bottom, indigo float, just 2 inches down on the inside, and then basically 3/4 down with maybe some heavier bands. Had 3 stripes of the seaweed, got the seaweed on there, and now we've put oatmeal on top of it. And maybe I hope not, but there's a good possibility that we'll end up naming this Kiln Destroyer or Shelf Destroyer or something. We'll see how much it melts and runs with all this on there. Could just end up in a pile, but that's what it's all about, having fun. All right, I'll show it to you when it comes out of the kiln. Y'all have a great day. Here we go, time to open the kiln. First thing out, I'm going to grab this utensil holder that I just talked about. And look at what that did. We did just kind of, you can see it ran right off towards the edge, but it didn't go too far. That's about as close as it got. That's our Tourmaline. It's that turquoise on the inside, covered in indigo float, bands of seaweed, and then covered again in the indigo float. That's gorgeous. Nice colors there. I've got a few other things in here. Just a little porcelain vase. This is Sunset Pink by Coyote, and they're orange red with oatmeal on top, which gave us this, which I was really put it on thick and heavy trying to get a rough texture on it. And it did, it came out nice. I get this blue gray from a local shop that mixes it for me, and I buy it in the gallons. It's real pretty. I know the utensil holder gets a good copper drip kind of look into it. Really nice, rustic. Sometimes you just got to play in the shop. This is the indigo float and ancient jasper I was talking about earlier, about these two go well together. Put the indigo float on the bottom, cover it in ancient jasper, and you get this effect. Real pretty. Sunset Pink from Coyote. This is Wasabi and Snow. It's a little mug we made for my father-in-law, and he had one like this, and it kind of disappeared on him when he moved, and so we've recreated one. I do the throwing, and my wife does this taping. It turns out nice. This is the eggshell from Coyote. I buy that in dry form and mix it. If you can see, it's flat, real flat. And then I had some different things I know I put on top of here with Albany Slit Brown, and looks like maybe some, oh, what is it? The one I use so often, iron luster, little iron luster on the rim. Back to a nice cone 6. Bunch of mugs, soup mugs. Can't complain about that. That's river birch with turquoise, nothing else. Not even all the way down on the inside, just about that far, and let it run. Then I did a bunch of mugs. Textured turquoise. Textured turquoise and blue ratile. Really get some great colors with that combination. Use that, you'll love it. That was a combo idea. It was a tourmaline. Seemed like maybe some indigo float and some iron luster on it, or ancient jasper. That gave a really neat effect. I like that. Nice little bike mug. Oh, that's pretty. I don't even know what I did to that. Looks like some textured turquoise. Look at the runs. That has to be honey flux on the bottom. Boy, you could give that to your grandmother for Christmas, couldn't you? Woo. I'm starting to feel like a professional. Oh, she got away from me. I'll have to do some grinding. Look at that one. The handle, if you're new to this, handles will make things run right down that little spout. So it happens. That's why you want to keep your shelves coated with kiln wash. But isn't that a gorgeous mug? If I can clean that up, that's pretty. And I bet I can. There's another iron luster with oatmeal on top. Good grief, the colors that come out of some of these mugs. Isn't that amazing? Just gorgeous. And this is a Pam's Blue from Coyote. See how you get almost an oil spot look? I'm gonna turn this light off because I'm afraid the glare is just killing us with that, but can you see that, the oil spot? Don't know if that's good or bad there, but really, really get some cool colors out of those mugs. Out of that. Pam's Green and Pam's Blue from Coyote will both do that. This is a red orange on the bottom, or no, this is pumpkin from Coyote. This is obsidian with seaweed on top of it. Really neat effect. Really neat. Obsidian 3 coats with seaweed on top of it. A couple, 2-3 coats, and it's always gorgeous. And then I have a big bowl down here. Knocked over a Kiln shelf stand. That is a little piece of heaven right there. Would you look at that? Oh my goodness. How gorgeous is that? That's out of scrap clay. You can see there's some different types of clay in there. I know that was some honey flux. I put obsidian around the top up here in patches. Not obsidian, wasabi. Probably a little textured turquoise. Just really put some stuff on there. Look at that. Look at that. Enjoy. Y'all give these a try. You'll love it. Thanks for watching. Please like and share.